Welcome back. This is not good. Germany are out of the World Cup. Oh nine. Das ist nicht gut. What can we say about this? Am I the only person that's disappointed that Germany are actually out of the tournament, apart from all the Germans? I know the English. Well, English are pretty happy with that, I'm guessing. But no, what a shocker. What an absolute shocker. Let's get into the news. Hot topics here. Yes, the shocking conclusion to Group E. We've just touched on it. And the shocking conclusion to Group F, for that matter, if you want to go there as well. Martinez steps down, inverted commas, as the Belgian manager. Well, was he resigned, or did he resign, or was he sacked? Steps down is the official terminology we're getting right now. Morocco and Japan topped their groups. Who would have thunk it? Who would have thought that at the beginning of the tournament? Definitely not me. And then the evolving last 16 lineup. Where are we at with that? Uh, let's get straight into it. Righty-o, here we are. You can see clearly here on the screen that Costa Rica 2, Germany 4. Okay, that is good. I'll stop speaking German now because I don't actually speak German, but that's good. So Germany won their match. However, problems start to show up when you look at the Spanish result. They lost out to Japan. Now it does result in a very interesting last 16 draw for Spain as a result of that. But surely to goodness that didn't come into play because you can't plan for things like that. They knew that if Costa Rica beat Germany, then Spain were out. So they couldn't plan to lose unless that came into their thoughts later on in the match. But I doubt it. I doubt it. I had a tough time watching these matches last night. I have to admit, I was flicking the channel back and forth, trying to figure out. I eventually settled on the Japan Spain match just because I think Germany got to 4 goals, and I knew that Costa Rica were definitely not going to come back there. But wow, yeah, what an evening of drama! And then, of course, in the afternoon we had Canada versus Morocco. It went relatively to plan, as in Morocco did beat Canada. Now it wasn't all one-way traffic, and Croatia and Belgium. Well, in my opinion, also went to plan. I was anticipating that that would probably be a draw. I had in my prediction league put in 1-1 for that one, but it turned out to be 0-0. But very bad for Belgium, so they suffer as a consequence of that. They're out of the tournament, and you can see what the standings are looking like at the moment. So before we get into the specific stats for each of those matches, which I always find very interesting, let's just have a look at that final group table. So starting with Group E, Japan come through with 6 points. Spain have 4 points. Germany also have 4 points, which is the goal difference that really hurt Germany here. You can see that Spain, because of the virtue of that 7-0 win that they had against Costa Rica in the opening round, it helped them to no end. And, looking at the end of Germany versus Costa Rica, it was a little bit like, well, where are Germany going to get an extra 6 goals from? And ultimately, that's what got them in the end. Um, so Spain got through by virtue of goal difference. What can we say about Japan? They've shown us time and time again that you can't underestimate them. They started out with this big win against Germany. It was like unbelievable because they were nowhere in the first half of that match against Germany. And the second half, they came back with those stunning goals. And then they lost to Costa Rica. I was like, what's happened to Japan here? And then they put in this performance where they beat Spain. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Well done to them, though. Very, very happy to see them go through. And I hope they can go further in this tournament. And Spain just about scraped through. Another weak performance from a European team. I don't know what's happening here. Is it the heat? Is it other factors? Maybe we should just call a spade and say that the European teams aren't as strong as they used to be. Then in Group F, backing up my theory a little bit further, Morocco, of course, go through as group winners on 7 points, and they were good value for those 7 points considering that they beat Belgium and they drew actually with Croatia on the first day out, and everybody was saying, oh, that was a bad result for Croatia. But actually, little did we realize that Morocco had their eyes on the prize. And by the way, Morocco do genuinely believe they can win this World Cup. That's the feedback we're seeing on social media already today. But that's great. If they can, they can. I would love to see an African team win the World Cup. That would be absolutely fantastic. I think it's first time in 36 years as well that Morocco make it through to the knockout stages in the World Cup. So really, really good for them. And yeah, Belgium are out, finishing on 4 points, 1 point behind Croatia. As I said yesterday, it was winner takes it all. Belgium couldn't win, so Croatia go through. Canada, yeah, they went out with a whimper. They looked interesting in their first match against Belgium, but were never really able to follow through. A very disappointing 4-1, I think, against Croatia. Kind of crushed them. They did stick with it in the Morocco match. Morocco had a lot more chances than them, but then Canada came more into it in the second half. We can have a look at the stats in a few minutes, anyhow. But yeah, let me come back to my predictions that I made yesterday with regards to Japan, Spain, and Costa Rica, Germany. In fairness to me, I got the German result right. I didn't expect Costa Rica to score 2 goals, though. Um, Japan, nope, did not see that one coming. I hold my hands up. Hold my hands up. I don't know if you can see them there. Hold my hands up. Got that wrong. Got that completely wrong. But fair play to them. Fair play to them. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. Let's have a quick look at the stats then from the matches. And we have first up Croatia versus Belgium by virtue of alphabetical order and what time these matches happened yesterday. 0-0. And if you look at the stats, pretty even in terms of possession, 47% versus 43%. Attempts on goal, Belgium having more attempts on goal, but significantly on target for each. So that's not going to win you any matches at all. Well, unless you score all 4 of them, the other team doesn't. Maybe I should retract that a little bit. Off target, slightly higher than for Belgium. Inside the penalty area versus outside the penalty area. So Belgium had more chances inside the penalty area. And interestingly, then when you look at the entries into the final third, the central and the right was what Belgium were preferring here, and the left hand side and the right hand side were what Croatia were looking at. But all in all, pretty drab. Belgium did have a few close chances, but yeah, it wasn't enough to get them over the line, unfortunately. So that's it for Belgium. We say goodbye to the world's number 2. Well, they won't be world's number 2 for long, but we say goodbye to them and see you at the next World Cup. I've no doubt that they will be there. But yeah, one of the big teams falls. And Canada versus Morocco. Uh, as you can see, it was an own goal actually from Morocco in the end. That was the Canadian goal that went in, but Morocco got up and scoring pretty early on in this match after the 4th minute and after the 23rd minute, as I on the score sheet as well. Stats tell a different story from the outcome, of course. 52% possession versus 36% possession in favour of Canada. But the goals are the true stats that we need to be looking at. And then the attempts on goal, you can see clearly here, 7 versus 5 on target. Importantly, both of the on target shots were goals for Morocco, and that's what wins you matches. And then off target, more for Canada. Inside the penalty area, absolutely even. Outside the penalty area, slightly more for Morocco. And yeah, that left side was where Canada seemed to get most of their success, as you can see, the left channel, 22 versus 6. So that was that match. Well done to Morocco, by the way, if I haven't said so already. I'm very excited to see some of these other teams like Morocco and Japan make their way through into the knockout stages. And of course, we have like the likes of the USA as well. Unfortunately, we didn't get Iran or Saudi Arabia making it, but you can't have everybody. You can't have everybody. Yeah, Japan. So it was Duan and Tanaka that scored for them in the second half. Mortara Mortara. I'm thinking of the Formula E driver. Morata opened the scoring. Of course, is he a bit of a journeyman? Maybe it's harsh to say that, but he's always been very good for Spain. He's always been very good. Now, this is where stats can certainly lie to you. Look at the possession stats. 78% possession for what you call them, Spain, Espanol. Absolutely amazing versus 14%, but yet Japan found a way to win, and Japan looked like quite a team. We spoke yesterday about Australia and the team spirit and everything else. Japan absolutely have that as well. Japan definitely have that. 8% in contest. Goals, the more important stat, 2 versus 1 for Japan. And then if we look at attempts on goal, 14 versus 6, of which 5 were on target versus 3. So Japan scoring 2 out of those 3. So that's a good conversion rate there from them. And look, this is incredible. Look at the entries into the final third, and my goodness, that left channel, that right channel, that central channel. Spain were coming at them from all angles. Japan yet holding on. So really, really well done to Japan. And as I said, I'm very excited to see them continue in this tournament and see them in the next round. And finally, Germany versus Costa Rica. Um, I guess Gnabry and Havertz, Gnabry scoring the early goal to make it 1-0. For some reason, I saw 23 minutes beside Havertz. I know actually for a fact he didn't score in the 23rd minute. Um, but then it was Costa Rica that took the lead 2-1. And at that moment in time, we were thinking, oh my God, Spain and Germany are both going out of the World Cup. It didn't turn out to be that way in the end. I suppose that would be one step too far in terms of we might as well just check into an alternative reality if that happens. So it didn't happen. It didn't happen. At least one of them is going through. But yeah, Germany are out despite their win, but they just weren't able to do enough. So 4-2 is the final result there. The possession was very high for them. Total goals, of course, for Germany. Critically, I was looking at that for a second going, they only had 4 attempts on goal and they scored all 4. That was amazing. No, in fact, they had 32 attempts on goal, as you can see, versus 7. 11 of which were on target for Germany. 5 on target actually from Costa Rica, so not too shabby off target. Costa Rica only 1 shot off target. Germany 17. Oh gosh, I don't even need to go into the final third entries. So that's where we're up to on that. Okay, let me see now if I can take us back here. So the shocking conclusion to Group E, yes, Martinez steps down. Okay, so we'll get to all of that. Morocco and Japan top the groups and the evolving last 16 lineup. So yeah, absolutely, I want to look at that. So let me work on bringing us back to the screen here where we can look at, this is the one that I want again. Sorry. Okay, so we want to look at the knockout stage. So how is the last 16 shaping up here? Well, as we can see, this is how it's shaping up. So now, the confirmed fixtures that we have: Netherlands versus USA, Argentina versus Australia. All right, we've covered those. Confirmed now, Japan versus Croatia. That is a tasty fixture, I have to say. I look, immediately would fancy Croatia to come through that, but I've written off Japan in nearly every single occasion that I can, except for the Costa Rica match, and you know what they did to me then. But Japan could really cause problems for Croatia. They have a fantastic defense. They're well able to convert their chances when they get them. They can score amazing goals, as we saw against Germany. So I would, I would love to see Japan win that match. I don't know what they can do, but it's up in the air. This isn't a foregone conclusion as to who's going to win that one, which is fantastic. Then we have England versus Senegal coming up on Sunday, France and Poland, and then Morocco versus Spain. Another intriguing matchup here. I would immediately fancy Spain once again, but Morocco have shown that they are persistent, if anything, putting in some great results. That 2-0 against Belgium was a tough result, and they were well able to get that done. So fair play to them. So it's really exciting. It's really, really exciting. And yeah, so that's where we're at. I don't think I need to share the screen any longer. Let's see what we have. Yeah, so yeah, Martinez. Yeah, and we've covered the evolving last 16 there as well. So I guess that just leaves us then with the story about Martinez stepping down as the manager of Belgium. and I have some quotes from what he was saying. So afterwards, after they were eliminated by, well, not eliminated by Morocco, they were eliminated by Croatia, if we're going to be perfectly honest. But looking at how all of that worked out, after their final game against Croatia, Martinez said that that was my last game. It was emotional, as you can imagine. The decision was taken just before the World Cup. I always work towards the long term projects, and they need to be set in advance. Since 2018, I have had many opportunities to leave to take jobs at club level. I always wanted to be loyal and to finish the job. I don't resign. It is the end of my contract. That was always the plan. Okay, and I guess he makes a fair point there. A couple of comments I will make about that is if he wants to go back into management for clubs, he probably damaged his reputation ever so slightly because he had a great team. He had a great team in Belgium, and he didn't utilize them. And in fact, you could argue he wasn't bringing through the younger talent that he should have been. He's playing all the older guys into this tournament, and it hasn't worked out for him. I made the joke several times that most of them will be going to the old person's home, and you have to feel very bad for the likes of Lukaku, who who is kind of missed out in a sense. I know Lukaku is not very old himself. He's probably still in his late 20s, actually, Lukaku. Um, but yeah, it feels to me very much like a squandered opportunity. Um, there was more from Martinez, though. He said, "It's been 6 years since I arrived with a clear idea to qualify for the World Cup. You get engaged with the people, and we felt we needed to give it another go. It's been a real joy. I'm so proud of these players. It's been amazing. It's been 6 years that we have been able to do anything you want to do in a club, in a national team, and it makes me extremely proud. We love the way that the team has played. It has given us incredible joy. It is the time for me to accept that this is the last game." I do wonder who will be the next manager of Belgium as well. They were going to have quite a job on their hands, bringing through that younger talent, as I've said, and ensuring that Belgium are set for the next phase of their journeys in terms of European Championships and World Cups and Nations Leagues and everything else like that. Uh, not going to be easy, considering a lot of the better players that they've had in recent times are probably on their way out now. Whether or not Kevin De Bruyne will stick around in the international game is a very big question for me as well. He's really been castigated for everything that has happened, in the local media in Belgium, saying he hasn't been playing enough or he hasn't played to the level that he plays in the Premier League. We have Eden Hazard. You could say he's been off the boil for a very long time as well. I suspect a few of these players will go into international retirement, and that definitely isn't going to help Belgium. I hope Lukaku doesn't go into international retirement because you feel like he just hasn't had a proper crack at it since the last time out, I guess. But anyway, that's how it goes, and these things move forward. So I think that's about it for today. We've covered pretty much everything. Oh yes, I did want to say as well. Stephanie Frappart was the referee for the Costa Rica Germany match, and there was nothing too controversial out of it. So it looks like she did a pretty good job, and fair play to her. And it's kind of setting the trend moving forward. The assistant referees were also female, um, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what gender, anything like that, as long as you're able to do a good job. That's all we need in soccer. We need good referees because there is a real lack of them at the moment. But yeah, no, it was a milestone, and for it to happen in Qatar as well, very clearly that's FIFA sending a message that, oh, we're progressive, we could do this, we could do that. Female referees have been used already in the Bundesliga and various other leagues already. So yeah, this is a real new area. Okay, I am going to leave it there for now. Thanks very much for joining. As ever, don't forget, please, please, please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell as well if you want to be notified of future videos. Really appreciate your support. Please leave some comments as well if you have anything that you would like me to cover or anything you noted from your own watching of the World Cup. And I will speak to you really soon. Until then, have a good one.